Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And wow, what a weekend of Call of Duty that we have just had the pleasure to witness. No doubt the greatest event since the CDL's inception. One of the best events of all time, to be honest. The storylines this weekend are absolutely out of control. Call of Duty seems to be resurrected to some great degree, but still, lots of discussion about some of the issues with the format, especially in the grand finals, to discuss here in the coming minutes. But very much intrigued to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Already up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. Lots of new subscribers as of late. Absolutely love to see that. Attached speaks on what could well be the greatest series of COD ever, certainly in the CDL era. I mean, what a comeback. 4-0 down to Ultra to win 5 straight and take the major. To win, honestly, just unbelievable stuff. We talked about it yesterday for sure, but there's still so much to say on this. Standy wins player of the stage. He had like a 1.12 over the course of the major. I mean, what a performance from him overall. And still, despite going in negative in the grand finals, the quality of his performance and the amount that he really brought to the table, not only does he have the gun skill and the awareness, but also like an ability to improve and be a great teammate, which you certainly need as a rookie, and some rookies do not have. And that's why this guy's so scary. I said maybe a few videos ago, maybe it was on the podcast, I'm not really sure, the Breaking Point podcast, that like if I'm like a Thieves or one of these other squads, Standy's like the #1 guy I'm trying to target for next year if I'm trying to upgrade my SMG duo. And well, Minnesota, especially after this, I'm probably not going to let him go for anything short of an absolute bag. And well, these are the final results. Rokkr win it, Ultra in second, Chicago in third. I mean, what like, look at these placements, right? Rokkr, Ultra, OpTic, then Empire, then Surge, Thieves, New York, FaZe, and then Mutineers, Royal Ravens, Los Angeles Grillers, and the Paris Legion to finish it off. We're going to talk about FaZe a little bit more later today, because certainly some storylines to touch on that regard. But yeah, what a weekend to Call of Duty. As Standy says, Major 5 champs, never give up and believe in yourself. This is what impresses me about this guy, right? Because he just won the Stage 5 Major and player with the stage, and immediately at the end of his tweet, he says, look, time to get to work for champs. This is not over. There's still more to be accomplished here for this team. And going into champs now, I guess they're favourites, right? It's somewhat tough to look past them, given what they've done here against the best teams in the game in FaZe, then Dallas, then well, Toronto twice they managed to beat. But yeah, honestly, obviously a ridiculous situation they found themselves in, and these were the overall scoreboards. I thought this was incredible. Insight had a 1.44 over the grand finals with 23,000 plus damage. Bantz had a really tough series as well, but you know, Attach right here, plus 16. The rest of the guys pretty much even, but yeah, honestly, what a remarkable series. The first 4 maps were nothing like the last 5, and it's well, an absolute breakdown from the Toronto Ultra, no doubt. Feel bad for them. They're going to have to go back and really consider how they actually let this happen, and well, regain it for the World Championship. But still, the team that's won the second last event of the season isn't always been the team that's won the World Championship, right? And this is very wide open. Honestly, if you'd have asked me, like even a couple of weeks ago, who's the favourites for the Major and then for the World Championship, you're going to say FaZe every single time. All of a sudden, you're like, hey, hang on a second here, lads. We've got so many other teams competing right at the top there. You could see OpTic potentially stepping up their game again. Dallas might step up their game as well for the World Championship. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Rokkr obviously looking incredibly scary. Toronto are right there with them. Then FaZe is still in the mix. You've got other teams as well that could potentially do something. Los Angeles Thieves, for example, really put up a good fight against Toronto Ultra this past weekend as well. So many great storylines going in, but of course there were some issues with the weekend. This I thought was a particularly big one, especially given how good that grand finals was. The fact that Maven and Merc were casting it from their own living rooms, it's like, what, are you kidding me? Like, if you get in the stadium there, I think Maven is one of those casters that really feeds off the crowd energy and does a great job with that, to be honest, like the relationship with the crowd, something you can't really manufacture from home, and something which definitely took away from the weekend. But all things considered, the crowd was great. The amount of the amount of noise the crowd was making, at least when the stream actually started to pick up the crowd audio, was great to hear, and it was just a phenomenal weekend of Call of Duty. There's no doubt about that. But this was some of the complaints, right? Because Minnesota Rokkr, no doubt, were the best team this weekend, but they get absolutely bodied these first few maps. They lost 250 to 34 this map number 1 on this checkmate hardpoint. Ultra just completely smoke them. Game 2 it was 6-1, and then slowly they claw their way back into the series. Then they win a Miami search and they manage to complete their the ultra reverse sweep. Simply cannot believe that possibly happened. But look, Rokkr came out so slow at the start of the series, and people might be wondering, okay, why is that exactly the case? And of course they come from the winner's side, that being the Rokkr, and therefore there's no advantage, right? We talked about this earlier, the idea that, okay, yes, it's a best of 9, but there's no 1-0 advantage like there was at the World Championship last year for Dallas Empire against Atlanta FaZe for Minnesota Rokkr in this series. So also come in, and the only disadvantage they have is technically in the vetoes, which well, really isn't much of a disadvantage. So this is what gets revealed by Modog yesterday. Minnesota was warming up against their coaches while Toronto played OpTic, making finals and winners in this new format can easily be argued, and probably should be, as a disadvantage. So this is the thing if you're Rokkr, right? Because you don't play the winners finals on the Sunday, you play it on the Saturday night, because they can have more matches on the Sunday and let more teams attend, right? That's kind of the idea, that like, instead of playing the losers finals on Saturday night, they'll allow 4 teams to get to Champ Sunday rather than 3. But it does create issues for the team that goes through winners to the grand final, right? The fact that if you're Minnesota, you have not played a single match on that day, and who else is going to warm you up? Everyone else is out of the tournament, they've gone home, they're chilling out or whatever. There's really no one else to play against. So that's the thing, they were warming up against their own coaching staff while Toronto played the series against OpTic. Toronto win that. They're obviously incredibly hot off that series win, and they come up absolutely swinging into the start of this series against Minnesota Rokkr. And, well, is it really a surprise to see immediately Rokkr going down at, well, pretty significantly? The first couple of maps were not even close at all. Why isn't Winners Bracket Final on Sundays again? It says Austin EasyMac, because that would be obviously a solution to this, but the CDL see it differently, I imagine, because they changed it after stage 1 of the, well, after the stage 1 major this season. As Octane says, Minnesota might well have rolled out of bed to play this. Winners bracket advantage by the way, they say. So certainly big frustrations with the tournament format, and understandably so. This is one of the biggest examples of it I think we've seen this entire season, where Rokkr, yes, they were the better team, but you know, these first couple of maps, you can see like complete domination for the Ultra guys before finally they seem to warm up and get into the series, did Rokkr, and after that they really turn things around, which is remarkable to think about. But if I was Rokkr and I lost this series, I'd be very frustrated indeed. Of course, like if you're losing 5 maps, you can't you know, just complain too much, right? Because that is on you to some degree. But at least the first couple of maps, right? Let's say this had gone to, you know, game 8, game 9 or something, and Ultra just managed to clutch up and win the whole thing. I'd be, if I'm Rokkr, I'm feeling a bit hard done by, thinking, okay, these first couple of maps, I didn't really even have a fair chance, right? Like Ultra were coming in absolutely swinging, and we're just coming in here like, you know, having warmed up against our coaching staff for the last couple of hours, which is, you know, of course they do end up completing the Ultra reverse sweep, but still not something you necessarily want to be the case, especially going into a World Championship where something very similar may indeed happen, because the bracket for the majors and the World Championship is pretty similar indeed. And well, I mean, honestly, just one of the more ridiculous things I've ever seen right here. COD Esports images that precede unfortunate events. That is certainly the case. And as Brian Saint says there, coach, it is never chalked. We do what we want. A winner's disadvantage cannot stop us. GG's to Toronto. I thought, you know, this format blows, but we do not care right now. So honestly, just incredible that they managed to get the job done, all things considered. Thought this was interesting as well, actually, because Saint was tweeting about the fact that there was a load of like Minnesota fans, or like, you know, quote unquote Minnesota fans that had left the venue after map 3. They were down 3-0. But as he said right here, we were down 0-4. I said this comeback is dedicated to everyone who walked out of the venue after map 3, and I stand by that. So apparently that was the team dog that got Brian Saint to get the job done. But I mean, look, on the other side of things, this major was one of the best we've seen in Call of Duty history, to be honest. It was such an incredible event. As Octane says, look, the major was an event for the history books. No better way to bring back fans to LAN than one of the best tournaments we have ever seen. And Nadeshot says something pretty interesting as well, right? I'm sure he was watching this entire weekend. He was getting frustrated about some of the performances of Los Angeles Thieves earlier on. I swear to God, the crowd at this major has brought life back to competitive Call of Duty. Obviously, the players deserve a great deal of credit for these incredible matches, but this is the most excitement I've seen from the community about Call of Duty in years, and it's not far around the corner until the World Championship does kick off. So it was just great to see this, right? Because we've had like 18, you know, not 18 months, but 16 months on of being online, and it's been difficult for the players, it's been difficult for the fans. It's great to like finally have an event that really shows like why we love competitive Call of Duty and why it can be such an entertaining esport, and all the personalities, all the storylines, it just all came together in a great weekend. So hopefully this will be repeated at the World Championship not too far around the corner. As Greg says, yes, competitive COD this weekend, certainly resurrecting, coming back to life. And well, this is honestly ridiculous. Major 1 champions, Atlanta FaZe. Major 2 champions, Toronto Ultra, beating FaZe in the grand finals, then FaZe again, then FaZe again. Major 5 champions, it's Minnesota Rokkr. So, you know, I honestly thought coming into the season, especially after Major 4, that, okay, wow, FaZe might just run away with this year, no doubt. But all of a sudden, it looks very open indeed. Because you've still got FaZe who are, you know, they're not going to go away without a fight, right? Toronto Ultra are still very much there, being very competitive. Now we've got the Minnesota Rokkr on the scene. You've got Dallas Empire trying to go back-to-back. You've got the OpTic guys in the business. You've got Los Angeles Thieves. Yes, they've got to fight through losers, so that's going to be difficult for them. New York, who knows what they can do. So, so many great storylines really going into the World Championship. Of course, Seattle aren't going to be there, which is somewhat unfortunate. But this is the bracket now confirmed for the championship weekend of the season, beginning on the 19th of August. So, OpTic will play Subliners in the first round. The winner of that will play Atlanta FaZe. On the other side, Empire play Rokkr. I mean, like, honestly, tough draw for Empire, to be honest. But they could get the job done. The winner of that plays Ultra. So, I mean, we could have a potential crazy rematch going on there. I mean, whatever series that is in winners round 2 is probably going to be ridiculous. Then on the loser side, you've got Mutineers and you've got Los Angeles Thieves trying to make what would be an incredible run. But I mean, it's not an incredibly long run if you look at it, right? You've only got to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 series to win the entire thing. And well, as we see, Championship Sunday, best of 9. We don't know if there's going to be an advantage for that for winners, because we would imagine if it's anything like the majors that there will not be a winner's advantage, which does obviously create a very big storyline indeed, given, okay, all these majors we've been talking about this whole winner's disadvantage thing, but, you know, the World Championship, that's a really big deal. But I'm not sure that whatever the pros having to say to the CDL behind the scenes will make all that much difference. Well, this is the playoffs schedule for day one then, so action starts on 19th of August, as I just said. Empire will play Rokkr first up, then OpTic play Subliners, and then we get to the last two games of the day, Thieves versus Dallas, Minnesota, and Mutineers versus the loser of, well, Chicago and New York Subliners. So on the first day, two teams will be through to face. This team will face Ultra, this, well, bottom team winner here will face FaZe on the Friday, and then two teams will be out of the tournament straight away when the World Championship does kick off. So very exciting stuff, no doubt. Just wanted to finish off with this as well, because I thought it was a pretty incredible clip that came out after the, you know, so you can see Minnesota Rokkr incredibly hyped with their victory, but obviously on the other side of the stage, Toronto Ultra were devastated with the loss and the way they're throwing the series away, and they kind of just run out. They didn't necessarily run out of steam, because if they'd have had to beat Dallas, let's say, and then they'd have to beat OpTic, and then they go into a grand final and like they go up 4-0 or something, then you know, you can understand that you've played so many maps on Championship Sunday, it's probably going to start to catch up to you, right, in terms of how you're performing, and you start to slow down a bit. But they only really beat OpTic, and then they went to the grand final, so they don't obviously they did start to slow down, but it's not necessarily the fatigue factor that you could argue it could be. But I mean, I thought this is incredible how Attach just says to the rest of his team before they go over to the other side of the stage to, like, you know, kind of give their commiseration to the other guys and fist bump and all this type of stuff. Attach is like, look, calm down, lads, like, let's not you know, have the smiles too wide on our faces, right? Let's you know, be respectful to the other guys. And that's what they do as they go across the stage and fist bump. And you know, I mean, Attach was really, well, he consoled CleanX as well, which I thought was, it's just really nice to see the sportsmanship, the great Call of Duty play. This is what Call of Duty is all about. So very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd really appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube because I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you much as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
The greatest comeback in the history of Call of Duty Esports. It's the Minnesota Massacre as they get the dub. Are you kidding me? What a series on Rokkr. Mentally to bounce back, being down 0-4. I've never seen